Hey everybody, here to show you some of the simplicity of making potato soups. Now I want to share with you just the basics, but we're going to show you what the different styles of potato soup are. So our base recipe right here, celery, carrots, and onions. So we're going to get the celery, carrots, and onions right in the soup here. And of course potatoes. Now these potatoes are not going to go in yet because they're already cooked. So we're actually going to set those aside. Those are our base ingredients right there: potatoes, carrots, and onions. Flavor wise, you're going to want to use a chickenless base or a vegetable base. You do not want to use the beef base because the beefless bases are too dark and they're just going to give it just such a dark color. And you know what? I am about out of veggie base, so it looks like I'm going to have to do this from scratch a little bit. When it comes to potato soups, real easy ingredients. You can hit it with some garlic, onion powder, which is different than onion. Definitely hit it with the onion powder. There's a huge difference between fresh onions, sauteed onions. Technically, there's 5 flavors to an onion. You have raw, which was what the raw onion would be. You have translucent, golden, brown, and dark brown. That's the 5 official flavors of an onion, and every one of them tastes completely different. And then your powdered onion tastes totally different than the fresh. So that's why you'll see a lot of recipes that actually use both powdered onions and dried onions. And then probably one of your secret ingredients when it comes to potato soups is actually your celery salt, which again is going to have a little different flavor than the actual celery. Now, I do have some salt here, but I'm not going to put it in there because I've got the celery salt, and even celery has natural salt to it. So we're going to hold off and taste it later and see if it's going to need more salt. And then we can always put a couple bay leaves in here. I'm just going to put let's say 3 bay leaves in here. That should be good enough. You'll notice one thing nowadays, though, in the hospitals, we no longer use bay leaves because it presents a choking hazard. So we actually get ground bay leaf, and we just put the ground bay leaf in there, and you're good to go. Yeah, they've actually stopped that in the hospitals. Another ingredient you can use is that McKay's chicken style seasoning, which is really good. You're going to love McKay's chicken style seasoning. And you can get these 5-pound bags. That's what I would do. Just get those 5-pound bags. It's going to save you a lot of money. And anybody who's eating healthy, who really wants flavor, this chicken style seasoning really works for a lot of different applications. So you might as well save some money and just get a 5-pound bag like that. Make sure you get the vegan special. In fact, Country Life is where I get this one. They're up in Michigan, Country Life. But make sure you get the vegan special. There's 2 different types that they have available there. Okay, so we've got some flavor in there. We're going to bring this baby to a boil, and then just bring it down to a simmer for about an hour and go from there. Okay, the soup is looking good. Yes, indeed. But then again, there's no potatoes in it, and we were supposed to make potato soup. So now is when you add the cooked potatoes. And we'll see how many we can start with here. Probably quite a few of them. I don't mind using all of them, just because that's what we're making, potato soup. And I think it just has to go. Absolutely. Now, remember I was telling you to put the potatoes in last like this. The reason you do that is because if you put, and you can do diced potatoes. You can take potatoes, you peel them off, or if you want skin on, you throw them in there, and you make your soup. The problem is that those potatoes are literally gonna disintegrate. You need to have the potatoes cooked. Then you cool them down. So you can use baked potatoes or boil off potatoes and then cool them down. Then peel them and then cut them and put them in the soup. Because what happens is the starch does its job of making a binding starch on those potatoes. And it's not going to break down in your soup. Or if you just throw diced potatoes in a pot of water and you boil them into a soup, eventually, very quickly too, those potatoes are just going to break down into a mush because the starch is being released from the potato rather than concentrating into the potato and binding the potato together. So there's a reason why you want to do that. Now look at the color-wise. Color-wise, this looks really good, but there's not these little specks in there. So there's lots of different things you can do. You can do some parsley. In fact, I got some parsley right over here to color it up. Boom! Now it's gourmet. You know, that's what you do. That is literally what you do. And and this is the basics. Okay, I'm just showing you the basics for potato soup. You've got it. You've got it right here. And you could add carrots. You got carrots. You could add corn and peas, and I mean the list goes on and on and on for the different personalities that you can now put on this potato soup. But basically that's it. That is your potato soup. Now this would be a potato soup in broth. Now the next thing we're going to do is create a potato soup in a creamy potato soup. This right here is cashew cream. And if you haven't seen my program, How to Make Cashew Cream, you basically just take your blender, take some water and cashews, you know, and thicken. You're just going to blend those cashews with that water until it's just very, very smooth. And you can't have a lot of water. It's got to be enough so it's really creaming together. And then you just hit it with some almond milk or rice milk or any type of milk, and boom, you got cashew cream. And that's exactly what this is. And I refrigerate it. No flavor in it whatsoever yet. So we're going to add this to our soup. And this is going to help creamy it up a little bit. Now, one thing about using cashew cream, we understand that this does not have any flavor. So a lot of times when you add this to a particular soup or something, you're going to end up with a soup that's going to lose its flavor. I tasted this before. It had really good flavor when it came to just the plain soup. But now that you're going to add some cream to it, you're going to be a little more challenged because you just might lose some flavor. So if you need to add a little more flavor, add a little more salt to it, that's okay. But what we're going to do here, let's let this heat up till it's almost boiling, and then we'll be able to work on it a little bit more. But it definitely needs to be warmed up. Okay, looks like the potato soup's warmed up a little bit after I put that cold cashew cream in there. You can see where it's still a little on the thin side, so we're going to do our little trick here by adding some mashed potato mix. Of course, you don't want to use a lot of mashed potato mix. I use mashed potato mixes basically for potato soups and maybe split pea soups. You can use it in a bean soup a little bit, but that's about it. I don't use it for a thickening agent for a lot of different soups. We've got our bay leaves, so I'm going to start hunting for those. And there's another one. Still going to add a little bit more of this potato to it. What happens, the reason you want to add this very slow is because after about 30 seconds or a minute, it's going to thicken up. Just takes a little time for that soup to actually absorb into those potatoes I just put in there. So maybe one more blast here. I don't think I need to go much farther than that. Okay. I think that's going to do it. Of course, you can make it as thin or as thick as you want. Hey, I'm showing you 3 types of soups right here. There's a 4th, because this one right here with the broth, I could have actually just thickened it up with some roux or cornstarch and actually had a veggie stew. So there's the other element there. So the 4th one, you've got your broth, you thicken it up, you got your stew. And if you do it with a cream sauce, now you got a creamy potato soup here. That's what we're working on right here. And I think that'll do. I almost want to add a little more potato to it, but I think it's going to thicken a little bit more. Nope, got to do it. I know, you shouldn't do it. Don't do it. I like it thick. I'm sorry, but I just like it thick. And that'll work. You want that thick. Okay, now that looks better. That's what I'm looking for. And it's going to thicken up a little bit here. Give that opportunity to thicken up. What do you think? I think we got a good one here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get you a bowl of the creamy potato soup here. Beautiful. Carrots and celery, and like I said, this one is one of those ones where if you put corn in it, and hopefully it's a little sweeter side, boom, you got corn chowder. That fast, and you've got a creamy potato soup. Now, I'm going to share with you another one that we're going to do here, and that is that we're going to do a blending on this. And just to let you know ahead of time, technically, if you're going to do a blended potato soup, like a cream of potato soup, you're not going to want all these carrots in here, because the carrots are going to give you a little more of an orangey color. So I'm just warning you ahead of time, because I just know, hopefully it'll turn out good. Hopefully it'll turn out just fine. But we're going to give this baby a blend. And sometimes you even need to thicken it up, or thin it down a little bit too. It all depends how much you got working in there. But this shouldn't be a problem. Let's get this baby blended. Okay, so just like this, we've got soup number 3, which is a creamy potato soup. Like I said, it's going to have a little orange flavor, look, just because you didn't have the carrots in there, it wouldn't have been a problem. But those carrots are going to change that color a little bit. But it tastes great. Tastes fabulous. Another thing you could always do is you can always take the blended potato, just part of it, and put it back in the soup and give it a little more creaminess that way. So there you go. 3 soups. Wait. Got to make it gourmet. Hey, now it's gourmet. Maybe if I speak with a French accent, you will like it even more. But the reality is, that's your simple processes on how to make your potato soups, whether it be one with a broth, one with a cream sauce, or a cream of potato or potato bisque. This one could actually be called a vegetable bisque because that's what it is. So there you go, the easy, intelligent way to cook healthy in the kitchen. And we'll see you next time, helping you get healthy one bite at a time.